Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So as you can tell, based on the title, this is a review of the small vintage classic flat bag. So I'm not gonna lie, I just got this bag. I've maybe worn it about 10-12 times already. This is the bag and it is the small vintage classic flap. Sorry, I have a friend here. I want to sort of talk about my experience with it. So I'm gonna go over the pros, cons, and whether or not I would recommend this bag. I purchased this from Fashionphile. Fashionphile is great if you are looking for a pre-loved bag, specifically Chanel, but like really any brand. I'm going to do a what fits inside. Currently I've got this little bag that I've been using. It's also a vintage bag, which I clearly love. So let's see what fits. So the first thing I'm going to see what fits is, let's see, something I would actually use. My card holder. This I use very frequently. Then I've got a mask, essential in this day and age, a mini kirigami pouch, a 6 key holder, little pouch, a key pouch. Okay, so that's pretty much those 4 SLGs in the mask. Does anyone who actually has this bag use this little lipstick thing? I don't know, like, I feel like I've got a Chanel lipstick and I'm trying to make it work and it just doesn't seem really practical. Maybe that's another con, or maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, you know what? I feel like 4 SLGs and a lipstick and a mask is pretty much all you'll get in here, frankly. If you've got like any little like receipts, you can tuck them in here or here. So let's get into the pros. So the first pro, in my opinion, is kind of like the most obvious one, and it's sort of like its status. Like I don't mean like, and when I mean status, I'm talking about like, you know, how iconic and classic it is. It's obviously a cult favorite. It has maintained its prestige in the handbag fashion world. Like you can wear this bag now, you could wear this bag 20-30 years ago, you can wear this bag 20-30 years from now, and it will still hold its prestige and that status. The second pro is its versatility. I think this is one of those bags where I think especially in the small size, maybe not so much in other sizes, but I think in a small, you can wear it casually, but you can also wear it dressed up. I think if you wanted to wear this to a more formal occasion, because it is a smaller size. The third point is its resale value. You don't really need me here to talk about Chanel price increases and how they kind of have maintained their value throughout the years. That's just kind of a given, but for any of you that don't know, it's a big reason why these bags are seen as quote unquote investments, whether or not you want to use the word. And then the next point is, because it's a smaller bag, I find that it fits most frames. Like I find that even if you're a taller person, this bag will still look really elegant and nice on you. But if you're petite, this is like definitely great. Like I find so many bags look really, like it looks like the bag is like my outfit, whereas like this to me just like flows so naturally with so many pieces in my wardrobe. It not only like fits my frame, but fits my wardrobe. You can put this bag with pretty much, like whether you want to go for something more of a casual style or you're more of a formal person. This is just an all-around, fits a variety of frames, but also fits a variety of lifestyles. And then the fifth point that I would say that I really love about this bag is that and I think this is a vintage pro, it's real gold-plated hardware, and that's a difference between vintage versus the newer bags. I think it's just a nice bonus. The sixth point is its availability. While it's, you know, you may not find the perfect bag like right away, if you are persistent and look on the pre-love market, like specifically a place like Fashionphile, there are tons of other places out there, you can find them. It's just, you know, finding a condition and like the size you like, but they exist and it's not impossible to get, whereas a lot of other Chanel styles are very difficult to find. And this seventh point, I find with a vintage Chanel bag, this style, the price is much easier to stomach. Like, I think when it comes to like the way Chanel prices are now, like they're just totally unobtainable for a lot of people. But if you know, think about the vintage market, it's definitely more affordable. And I think what's really interesting about the pricing is that this person who bought this bag originally still maintained the value of that bag, because whatever they paid in the early 90s, the price has gone up even though it's a vintage bag. So you're kind of safe if you bought this bag, like if you buy this bag now, like new, or if you bought this bag back in the day, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna talk about the cons. So the first con, and I was just talking about it, was the price. Like, yes, it's cheaper, but it's also extremely expensive. While it is at a better price point than the newer bag, it's still very expensive due to the price increases. Second con, lambskin is really delicate. There is, unlike the caviar and a lot of the newer styles, like it's still sensitive. I would say that this is in really good condition despite it being, you know, a vintage bag. However, I think that, you know, lambskin is something that if you're someone that does not like to baby your bags, this may not be the bag for you. Third point I wanted to make is that this bag might be too small for some. It is a lot of material because it is a double flap, because it does have this double flap. It does take up a lot of material. So the material to space ratio isn't very good, and I would say even for a bag this size. The fourth con is the medium isn't that much more, and if anything, I find on the pre-love market you can find the medium and jumbo size pretty much like very comparable price points. I think if you are interested in going bigger, maybe it's better just to go with the medium or the jumbo. The fifth con with this bag is I find I'm actually very precious with it. I think because I bought it, and maybe this is new, and I'm like this way with a lot of my new bags anyways, but with vintage bags, normally I don't really care. This is currently the vintage bag that I'm using now, and because it's just like a Fendi bag and it's a fabric and, you know, it's very durable, surprisingly. I just I'm not precious with it at all. And I find many vintage bags I'm not like that. But with this I am, because of the lambskin, and I would say because of the cost. Just keep that in mind, like if you like to buy vintage bags because you like to be more precious with it, I find I'm still precious with this. But that just might be a me thing. And then the sixth point, and I hear this a lot in the luxury community, and I get it, and it's, some people just don't like vintage, and I understand that sentiment, but like at the same time, like your bag is, you know, maybe you purchased the classic flap like 10 years ago, it's gonna be vintage in like 10, 15 years. So like, I don't know, like how do we define vintage, and like, is vintage like 20, 25 years, something like that? It's just like I get it, but like I'm also like, I buy bags that are meant to last me a lifetime. So maybe you may not be in that camp, but like, and maybe you change your bags every like few years, fine. But like if you're someone that is looking for a lifetime bag, I wouldn't see this much as a con. So for the final verdict, do I recommend this bag? And I know I just mentioned a lot of cons, like a lot. And I feel like for most bags, dealing with a bag that would be this expensive, a bag that I would have to be this precious, a bag that I would have to, is so delicate. I feel like most bags that would tick off those boxes, I would say absolutely no. But I feel like because of the status of this bag, and when I talk about status, I don't mean status in terms of like the monetary value of the bag. I'm talking about its iconicness and its classicness. And there's very few pieces that have this kind of impact that really are timeless. And that's why I think it is totally worth it. And some people may disagree, but I feel like this is the only bag this is one of the only pieces, if not the only piece, that I totally see the classic and iconicness like overriding all other factors. Now there's some other bags that I feel like have a lot of history to them that I wouldn't be as willing to recommend, but I totally recommend this. I do think like the wearability, the versatility, and how seamlessly it can flow with any wardrobe does make it in many ways like a closet staple. So yes, I fully recommend this bag. So that is my review on this bag. Let me know your thoughts on this bag. Do you have this bag? Do you plan on getting this bag? Do you think that this bag is not worth it? Please let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.